Hello dear student, welcome to our new session of electrostats. It's your 8th lecture. In last lecture, dear student, we are talking about extended charge and its type. I'll already discuss we have three types of extended charge are there. If I'm talking about extended charge, there are three types of extended charges. First is your linear charge density, second is your surface charge density, and third is volume charge density. We already discussed about what actually extended charge is, and in extended charge I already tell you that those body whose physical parameter is length, on which if we'll put charge, then that charge is considered to be linear charge density. Now we are talking about second extended charge, that is surface charge density. See, those continuous body who carry physical parameter as area, if we'll put charges on that body or on that kind of body, then that charge is considered to be surface charge density. This surface charge density is also called area charge density. Why area charge density? Because this charge is basically existing for those bodies whose physical parameter is area. So I'll write here that those continuous bodies whose physical parameter is area are carry surface charge density, or we can say or area charge density. So remember this thing, dear student, those continuous body whose physical parameter is area, the charge which is present on that type of bodies is considered to be surface charge density. Those charges are considered to be surface charge density. Now moving forward, let's suppose example for those bodies are, first is your disk, second is your hollow sphere, third is rectangular slab. These are some examples of those body if on which if we'll put some charge, then that charge is that charge is basically distributed uniformly all over its area, then that charge is considered to be surface charge density. So let's suppose we have a hollow sphere, let's say hollow sphere consisting radius r. Now we all know that inside the hollow sphere no surface is present, it is blank. So hollow sphere carry only surface area, So if I'll put some charge, let's suppose plus q charge, then this plus q charge is distributed all over on its surface. Why? Because charge needs surface for its existence. In air, charge cannot present. So we'll say if I'll put some charge plus q on this hollow sphere, as hollow sphere carries surface area, so this charge is distributed uniformly all over the surface of hollow sphere. So I'll say this charge is distributed uniformly all over the surface of hollow sphere. Now see, surface charge density is symbolized by sigma. Remember, surface charge density is represented by sigma. So what is sigma? Sigma is charge per unit area. I'll write the definition as well. Charge per unit area is called surface charge density. Charge per unit area is called surface charge density. Charge per unit area is called surface charge density. So sigma is equals to Q by A. Now see, if we wish to find small amount of charge, let's say if small area is present, because of if small area is present, then charge is also small. So small area means dA. Remember, small area means dA. So as we all know that these types of body carry area, and charges are also present on area. So if area is very small, then charge is also becomes very small, that is dq. In that case, surface charge density becomes equals to dq by dA. This is the basic formula of surface charge density, or we can say area charge density. Now if I am talking about its SI unit, we all know that it is Q by A. So SI unit of charge is coulomb, and for area it is meter square. So coulomb per meter square is the SI unit of surface charge density. Remember, for finding small charge dq related to these types of body which carry surface charge, or we can say which carry area, you have to find its small area for finding small charge. Why? Because these types of body carry area, the charges are present on its area. So if you wish to find small charge, you have to find first its small area, because on that small area only small charge is present. So this is all about surface charge density. I hope you all understand surface charge density. Now moving forward with volume charge density. Write down, third topic is your volume charge density. Write down, volume charge density. Third topic is volume charge density. Volume charge density. Third is volume charge density. So volume charge density is represented by rho. See, those continuous body which carry volume, on that body if charge is present, then that charge is considered to be volume charge density. So I'll write here, these charges are present on those bodies which carry volume as physical parameter. So remember this thing, dear student, those continuous body whose physical parameter is volume, if charge is present on that body, then that charge is considered to be volume charge density. For example, let's say solid sphere. I am writing only those examples with which we will encountered. So remember, we'll encountered with disc, we'll encountered with ring, wire, solid sphere. These types of body we have to find its charges. So solid sphere. Now let's suppose we have a solid sphere like this. Solid sphere have inner surface as well as outer surface. So this is, let's suppose, our solid sphere. Let's say volume of this solid sphere is V. Now if I'll put some charge on this solid sphere, let's suppose plus Q, then this charge is distributed uniformly all over the surface and inside the solid sphere. Why inside? Because solid sphere carry inner surface as well as outer surface too. So let's suppose we are putting some charge q. This charge will be distributed uniformly inside and outside the solid sphere. In that case, we will say volume charge density is charge per unit volume. So the definition of surface charge density is charge per unit volume is called volume charge density. Charge per unit volume is called volume charge density, or we can say, we know that per unit volume means 1 meter cube, per unit area means 1 meter square, per unit length width 1 meter. So also we'll write, or charge present in 1 meter cube volume is called volume charge density. So if we wish to find small charge for solid sphere, then as we all know that solid sphere carry volume. So for finding small charge, you have to first find its small volume, or we can say 1 meter cube volume. So I'll write, if volume is very small, that is dV, in that case charge is also small, that is dq. Why? Because solid sphere carry volume and the charges are present on its volume. So if volume is small, then it is very understandable thing that charge is also small, that is dq. In that case, I'll write, it is dV by dq. This is the formula of volume charge density, and this is applicable for those bodies whose physical parameter is volume. If we'll put some charge on that body, then the charge is distributed all over its volume. That's why these types of charges is called volume charge density. You have to remember this formula, dear student. You have to understand this thing. If you wish to find small charge for solid sphere, so we know that if we are finding small charge for solid sphere, then that charge is present on its volume. So for finding the value of small charge, first you have to find its small volume. In question you have given total volume. So if you wish to find small charge dq, you have to find small volume first, that is dV. So rho is equals to dV by dq. Now its SI unit, if I am talking about its SI unit, it will be sigma is equals to charge per unit volume. The SI unit of charge is coulomb and SI unit of volume is meter cube. So its SI unit is coulomb per meter cube. This is the SI unit of volume charge density. I hope you all understand what basically extended charges are. There are three types of extended charge. First is your volume charge density, second is your surface charge density, and third is your linear charge density. We have three types of surface charge densities. These charges are present on continuous bodies. Remember, these charges are present on continuous bodies. So these charges are present on continuous bodies. You have to remember this thing. I hope you all understand this. Now we'll move forward and started our next topic, that is electric dipole. So write down electric dipole. Electric dipole. See, electric dipole is basically system of two charge. Electric dipole. Write down first next topic, it is electric dipole. Electric dipole. I'll write here electric dipole. So first point what I'll write about electric dipole is, electric dipole is system of two charges. It is basically system of two charge. Now what is the system of two charge which called electric dipole? See, small magnitude charges, both the charges magnitude is same but their symbol are opposite, or we can say their nature are opposite. So let's suppose this is plus q and this is minus q, separated by a small distance. Here I am taking small distance value as 2a. This is why, because when we are solving some numerical, or we can say we are deriving some formula, then 2a gives easy way. So this is basically system of two charges, same in magnitude, opposite in nature, separated by a small distance. This system is called electric dipole. This system is called electric dipole. So I'll write here, small magnitude, two similar charges, same magnitude, or we can write here, let's say similar magnitude but nature are opposite, separated by a small distance, is called electric dipole. This system is called electric dipole. So I'll write two charges of same magnitude but opposite by nature, separated by a small distance, is called electric dipole. Remember this thing, two charges of same magnitude, dear student, this is the punch line. Plus q magnitude and minus q magnitude must be similar. So two charges of same magnitude but opposite by nature, separated by a small distance. Here the small distance is considered to be 2a. Small distance is considered to be 2a, is called electric dipole. Remember this thing, we have two charges same in magnitude, opposite by nature. One is plus q, another is minus q, separated by a small distance, that is 2a. This whole system is considered to be electric dipole. You have to understand this thing, that electric dipole is not for single charge. Electric dipole is basically pair of charge. We have two charges, one is plus q, another is minus q, separated by a small distance. This distance is considered to be 2a. This whole system now is said to be, dear student, electric dipole. This 2a is basically small distance. We will present here distance as value 2a. Instead of r or d, we will write 2a or 2d, whatsoever you want to write, you have to write. But remember this thing, put 2 because this 2 can help you further for long derivation. So I'll write here, the distance between charges is 2a. The magnitude of charges are similar, their nature are opposite. First charge is plus q and second charge is minus q. This whole system is said to be electric dipole. So I hope you all understand what actually electric dipole is. It is very small system of two charges having same magnitude but opposite by nature, separated by a small distance, is called electric dipole. So here I'll write distance as 2a between the charges. Charge is, one is plus q, second is minus q. So whole system considered to be electric dipole. Now moving to next topic. In this similar topic, it is electric dipole moment. Write down electric dipole moment. See, for every electric dipole, it carry its electric dipole moment. For every electric dipole, it carry electric dipole moment. Now, electric dipole moment is presented by P, dear student. It is presented by P, first thing. Second thing, it is a vector quantity. Remember, electric dipole moment is basically vector quantity. It is represented by P. So now we'll put here a vector sign, then it is said to be P vector. Every electric dipole carry its dipole moment. I'll write here in form of note that every electric dipole carry its dipole moment. Every electric dipole carry its dipole moment, and dipole moment is presented by P vector. Now, what actually dipole moment is? Write down. It is the product of magnitude of positive charge and separation between the charges. So, I'll write here electric dipole moment. It is the product of magnitude of positive charge and separation between the charges. See, dear student, every dipole system carry its dipole moment. You have to remember this thing. Every dipole system carry its dipole moment, and the meaning of dipole moment is it is the product of magnitude of positive charge whatsoever the magnitude of positive charges multiply by separation between the charges. So I'll write P vector is equals to Q, magnitude of P vector is equals to magnitude of positive charge multiply separation between the charges, that is 2A. So remember this thing, dipole moment is basically product of magnitude of positive charge and separation between the charges. This is all about electric dipole moment. Now, as the electric dipole moment is a vector quantity, so it carry some direction as well. So the direction of electric dipole moment is always from negative charge towards positive charge. I'll put the direction of electric dipole moment. It is always from negative charge towards positive charge. So I'll write here the direction of electric dipole moment is always from negative charge towards positive charge. Always remember, the direction of electric dipole moment is always from negative charge towards positive charge. Always remember, dipole moment is basically product of magnitude of positive charge and separation between the charge. Second thing, dipole moment is vector quantity, so it carries some direction, and remember this thing, dipole moment is always negative to positive side. Remember this thing. So this is all about electric dipole moment. Okay, if I am talking about its SI unit, it is very easy to find the SI unit of dipole moment. It is Q into 2A. So Q is basically charge, its SI unit is coulomb, and 2A is distance, its SI unit is meter. So coulomb meter is the SI unit of electric dipole moment. Write down, dear student. I hope you all understand this concept. What actually dipole moment is? Remember, dipole moment is basically product of magnitude of positive charge and separation between the charges. This is called electric dipole moment. Now moving forward, see, we have two lines when we are dealing with electric dipole system. We have two different lines. on which we have to find electric field. See dear student, basically the charges which is make dipole system is point charge. Remember this thing, the charges which make dipole system is point charge. So due to point charge, the electric field is k q by r square. Remember this thing, k q by r square. And for positive charges, the direction of electric field is away from the charge, and for negative charge, the direction of electric field is always towards the charge. So when we are dealing with electric dipole system, we know that the system carry one positive and one negative charge, carry equal magnitude, separated by a small distance, and the distance is considered to be here as 2a. Second thing, we know that this dipole system carry dipole moment. It is product of magnitude of positive charge and separation between the charge, and its direction is always from negative charge towards positive charge. Now for dipole we have two kinds of axes on which we'll wish to find the electric field due to dipole system. So I'll write for dipole system we have two axes. One is considered to be axial line and second is considered to be equatorial line. Remember, one is axial line and second is equatorial line. We have two different axes for dipole system. When we are dealing with dipole system, we have two axes. One is axial line, or we can say we have two lines. One is axial line and second is equatorial line. Now we are discussing what actually axial line is and what actually equatorial line is. See dear student, I'll make two lines. With respect to dipole moment, I am defining these lines. I'll write here, these lines are defined with respect to dipole moment. So remember, these lines are defined with respect to dipole moment. Now see, I'll make two different lines. One line is like this. If you are seeing here, then this line is parallel to dipole moment. See, dipole moment is also lying along horizontal axis and this line is also a horizontal line. So this line is said to be the line which is parallel to dipole moment, and second line I'll make like this. You are seeing that dipole moment is in horizontal line and this line is, dear student, perpendicular to horizontal line. So we'll say this line is called axial line and this line is called equatorial line. So if I wish to define axial line with respect to dipole moment, then what we'll say? We'll say axial line are those line which is parallel to dipole moment. And what is equatorial line? The line which is perpendicular to dipole moment is called equatorial line. So try to write the definition of axial line and equatorial line. I hope you all are getting my points because these things are very easy to understand. First is your axial line. So what is axial line, dear student? The line which is parallel to dipole moment of any electric dipole system is called axial line. Very easy to understand. The line which is parallel to dipole moment of any dipole system. See, plus q and minus q makes dipole system. Remember this thing, this is a system. More than one charge is considered to be a system, and for dipole moment we have two charges. So the line which is parallel to dipole moment of any electric dipole system is called axial line. Similarly, equatorial line. So what actually equatorial line is? The line which is perpendicular to dipole moment of any electric dipole system is called equatorial line. So the line which is perpendicular to the dipole moment for any dipole system is considered to be equatorial line. Now in next lecture, dear student, we'll move forward with finding the electric field due to this dipole system on axial line as well as on equatorial line. In next lecture, we'll find this derivation. Thank you so much. Stay connected, stay safe, stay at home. Thank you, beta.